Hi everyone, I'm Brandon Rhinus,
I'm Faizel John Muhammad.
and we're back. It's been months. I've been on the new channel I started. I've been slowly uploading all our old videos, but this is the first new one we've done in a long time, probably since like the spring or something.
My, how you've changed over the years, Brandon.
Who are you kidding? I look exactly the same. Your hair is just a little bit longer than last time, I think, but
That's fair. I shaved it bald. Did I see you when I shaved it?
I I did. I was at your house when we were shooting I'm Haunted 4 or 5.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And I did it for a film, so I like went all the way bald. So it's gone through a cycle.
yeah. All right, well, we're back, and what movie are we doing today?
We're doing The Conjuring, which is
Conjuring.
not Insidious.
Not
Because you
Insidious.
first told me it was The Conjuring, I was like, in my head, I was like, oh yes, that movie with Tiptoe Through the Tulips with Tiny Tim.
Yeah, they both have Patrick Wilson in them,
They do, and they're
and
both James Wan.
they are. I consider them. They're both part of like that new era. It seems like Conjuring kind of kicked off that new era of horror, where
Yeah.
for a while there in the 2010s, every horror movie was like that. They still are to a certain degree.
To a
Uh,
certain degree. What do you think? Because I have several questions to ask you about this movie in relation to this movie, but you brought up a good one that I'd be willing to pick your brain about. What do you think is that quintessential? Because it has a look. It very clearly has a look. What do you think defines that look?
I don't know, and funny enough, I didn't watch it yet. If I should have, because I would have been able to explain it. But I saw a video yesterday on YouTube where a guy, I think he was like a cinematographer, and the video was something like, "Why do movies not look like movies anymore?" or something like that.
It's very
And
like high gloss, right?
yeah,
It's
it's something that like I'm not a technical guy, like I don't know cameras and stuff. Sam Reed would probably be able to explain it.
Mhm.
He's our cinematographer. I don't. All I know is like it has that look. I just can't put it into words and I can't define it, but it looks different. And Conjuring, I don't know if they started it, but like they started something.
I've never seen WandaVision, but they all look like what I imagine WandaVision looks like stuck in the 50s. Everything, the color palettes, the cinematography is very high scale and very like pristinely recorded, but everything else about it seems very like cookie cutter. I don't know if that's
Yeah, I don't like it seems like previous decades, like say 2000s and earlier, movies look different. Like
yes.
Batman looked different than Total Recall. It
Now,
looked different than Dumb and Dumber. Now it's like every movie is kind of similar.
you mean the early Batman, because I was going to say Batman, the Christopher Nolan ones. I blame The Dark Knight specifically for like all the movies after 2010 that just were all dark. You couldn't
Yeah.
see shit in those movies. They were all dark. And
Yeah,
I think
I
just
can't
coming
remember
out of that with color.
I can't remember if we discussed this before, but something I think about. I remember when I was a kid, it was always a big thing in movies. Like they're so dark, people would complain about it, and
Hmm.
you'd watch like Ebert and Siskel and Ebert, like movie reviews, and it would come up like movies are so dark, it's so hard to see. And then that kind of went away for a good like 15, 20 years. And all of a sudden it's back. I hear people complaining about it again that the movies are so dark you can't see what's happening. It's like,
The
how did we
cycle.
revert back to? I thought we were beyond that now.
Well, it's the bang bust cycle of everything, right? There's a thing, and then there's the reaction to the thing, and then the reaction becomes the status quo for a little while, and then the status quo gets enough status quo to get a reaction, and
Yeah,
then it's just how pop culture tends to go.
yeah. But I guess aside from that, like, what did you think of The Conjuring as a story, as a movie?
Now, I remember liking it, and then I watched it, and I have a complicated relationship with this movie. I don't think I like it. But I also don't I know for a fact that like it's the Warrens. It's based on the Warrens and like I know too much about the Warrens like life and like personal stuff to like enjoy the movie like face value. But I don't know if I liked it or not. I was gonna ask you like do you believe in ghosts? What's your feeling on that?
For the
I don't think.
most part, no. If I had to say, I would say no.
Mhm.
I think that like there is a logical explanation. And I used to listen because Elizabeth and I we had our paranormal podcast for a while. So
Yeah, yeah, I
in that
remember.
time I would like listen to it was called Behind the Paranormal Podcast with a guy. Paul Eno and his son. And Paul Eno used to work with the Warrens, but he stopped working with them because he like they were so sen everything they would call the news, they turn into a big circus so they could sell books or whatever. And he's like, nah,
Allegedly, they're not good people.
yeah,
They're
he like
yeah.
he just found them dishonest. But anyways, he had some theories that he's like he doesn't think go they're not like the spirits of dead people or anything like, but he does believe like there are such things as entities, but they're not like biblical demons, they're not ghosts, they're just some sort of alien force that we don't understand yet. Maybe that's true. I have a hard time even believing that. For the most part, I'm very skeptical. I even say like in I'm Haunted 5, my character slash me says like I write about it, I just don't believe it, which
So
tends to be
you
true.
don't think any of it happened? Like none of it is.
I if you look like I haven't read the parents like the family their real life book,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
apparently it is so completely not the same. And from what I've heard of interviews with
I mean,
them, they're like this movie was so made up. They basically just took their name, gave them some money, and then made a Hollywood movie about it when they could have just made a completely fictional story. Because none of it
that's
was true.
always how it goes, right? They always like kind of like take it and like spin it 360 degrees, and I'm like,
Yeah,
now it's true. Like the Amityville. Like, oh my God, some of the Amityville sequels have gotten pretty nutty.
yeah, and even
Um,
that, it's like it was largely exaggerated, and even the mom.
yeah.
We can get into this, but in the story, but in the movie, the mom gets possessed and tries to like kill her kids. And in real life, of course, that never happened. The mom, the real mom, is like, "What the hell? Like, we like give you guys the rights to tell our story, and then you make it look like I tried to murder my own children. Like that's horrible." And it never happened.
Do you think ESP or any of that stuff is real, or do you think that's also like out? Well, you believe in aliens, I think, right? Is that or that you said that's a stretch for you too?
No, I mean, I believe there's probably are aliens. I just don't think they've ever been here or anyone's ever seen them or talked to them. There probably
Fair enough.
is some out there. We'll probably just never cross paths with them. I'm overall very skeptical, but I'm open to the possibility, mostly because I find it so cool. Like I just find it I wish it was real because I like writing about it, I like watching movies about it. I just have a hard time believing that it's factual.
Okay, we were on a similar plane then. I'm in that similar category. Like I don't necessarily think it's real, but I really want it to be real. Like
Yeah.
if there is a ghost, if someone's like, "Hey, there's ghosts over there," I'm probably going to go over there and take a look. Now, I know we're probably going to derail the podcast a little bit. I wanted to ask if you had any sort of paranormal experiences. Only because like I didn't like this movie, man. I found it kind of boring.
Uh, I honestly haven't. The only time I think there was two times I might even mention this in on the podcast with Elizabeth. There was two times that it was something that I the only thing I could consider close. Once it was in my like a couple apartments ago, and I was just like reading in bed at night, and I had like a bottle of like some pills, some medication that was like sitting on my end table, and also
Uh-huh.
it just like fell off, and
Oh,
it was
like
close to
without
the edge.
prompt, without any shake, anything. It
Yeah,
just
it
happened.
just kind of. But then again, I was like, oh, like it was enough to be like that was weird. Windows not open. Nothing else ever happened, and I was like, like trucks, trains going by, like it could have been something. But
I
it was enough
guess.
to be like, well, that was kind of freaky and weird. And then nothing ever happened after that, so I didn't think much of it. And one time I was at the Tim Hortons on downtown on Jasper,
Uh-huh.
and I was at the back of the line, and I swear like someone was behind me, like came up behind me. And of course the lineup was taking forever, right? And I heard this person, they were like kind of like moaning, like, ugh, like God, this is this is taking so long kind of thing. And I was kind of
Uh-huh.
like, dude, shut up, like whatever, takes 5 minutes. And he did, and like I kept hearing that kind of thing. And then I didn't want to turn around and look at him and you'll start a
Yeah,
fight.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're just
But
like if
after,
you hear someone moaning, you don't want to confront them. You're just like, okay, come on.
yeah, so after I waited a couple minutes and then I was like, I'll just kind of casually pretend I'm looking around. I want to see what this guy looks like. I turn around, there's like no one there, and I was like, and it's like if there was a couple minutes he could have walked away because he was frustrated, but I'm like, man, I thought I would have like seen him peripherally, and it was just kind of like weird. I didn't necessarily think it was paranormal, but I was like, well, that was kind of messed up.
I've had some small experiences that make me think people have extrasensory perception. And I think some that could be misconstrued as ghosts. I don't necessarily know. Like I said, I'm hoping to discover one day. Who knows? Um, but this movie,
I'll say
How
I like it. Oh, if I had to pick, like thumbs up, thumbs down,
complete?
I like it. I'd say like they did a good
Giving it a
job.
thumbs up. You're giving it a good to go.
It started a new trend. Like when it came out, it was huge. And I think to this day, horror movies are still ripping it off. It's kind of like The
True.
Exorcist. As soon as it comes out, everyone's like, this is how you do it. And then they just rip it off. And there were some tropes in that movie. I was like, come on, man, I've seen this a million times. But then I was like, wait a minute, this might have been like the first one to do it. This
First
might have
time.
started it.
Well, and they started that whole like big tent pole, like, because well, James Wan really did this started that like tent pole of movies, right? Because like he did Saw, and then they were like, do a movie without blood, and they did Insidious, and then by that point, then he just. I heard this movie was like in a bidding war between studios for a minute, and then they someone picked it up and attached James Wan to it. Yeah, I just found it hard to pay attention. Like I was watching it, I literally just watched it before we hopped on the podcast. I just finished watching it, so it's fresh in my head. But I couldn't tell you a thing about it because as I was watching it, I was just kind of like, it's very bland. I found.
I think and I know what you mean. Like I've seen it probably five, six times, but I haven't watched it in probably over 5 years. But I watched
Mhm.
it last night just to refresh myself for this. And I was like, it kind of holds up. It's very well made. I think the problem
It's
might be that it's been
really
ripped
well.
off so much that it's kind of like, I think we're past this point now as horror fans. And it's also,
I know what you
once you see where it leads, like the Conjuring universe started off cool. Like I like this movie. I like part two. And the first Annabelle, like second Annabelle was okay. And then they proceeded to get worse and worse, where now it seems like every time a new Blumhouse movie in this
mean.
universe comes out, every horror fan just universally pans it.
I'm
So
not gonna lie. I saw the poster for Last Rites, Conjuring Last Rites, because I was looking up The Conjuring to watch it, and then I saw Last Rites, and I was like, "What is this poster? It's so terrible looking."
I don't know, like I didn't like the third one. I found the third one just boring. It's like, man, they're basically just rearranging all the same pieces. Like I've seen all the stuff they do, and they had that trope in the Conjuring, the first one, where the mom hears the little kid talking to an imaginary friend, and they look into a room, but the door is obscuring who they're talking to. You just see, they're playing tea set or whatever, talking to someone. It's like, who are you talking to? It's like, man, I swear to God, that's in every movie. That
It
that was
is. Do you think it started with The Conjuring?
I
I
don't
think
know. It might have did it start it might have started with that or Paranormal Activity 3. I can't remember if they did that in that one.
I was thinking of something like Dark Water or like The Ring. I feel like it started in that era of like 2005 horror movies.
It could have been like the whole little kid having an imaginary friend that turns out to be evil. I mean, technically that started
Hide and seek,
with
right?
Exorcist, that was in there. But I'm
True.
talking like the specific thing where the mom peers in, they could
And
see the
the door is
kid, but they can't
obscured.
see who they're talking to because the door's there. That was in that Imaginary, that crappy movie that came out like this year or last year. Like I've seen it like a bunch of times. But then I'm thinking, did Conjuring start it? Like there's a bunch of tropes in there. I made some notes too. Um, and there were some good moments in like the whole part where there's someone behind the door. It's like that's kind of freaky. Like,
There's some good scares. There's
yeah.
definitely some good scares in there. Watch it in the dark and get some good scares out of it for
I
sure.
think people that are disturbed by horror movies would find this movie terrifying.
Now, I feel like Insidious is the better film since we mentioned them in like a shared universe
Hmm.
sister. In my opinion, when I was watching it, I was kind of like hoping we were gonna watch Insidious because then I looked it up. I was like, which is the movie with the Tiny Tim song? And I was like, oh, that's Insidious.
They are similar. If I might pick Conjuring if I had to pick.
Over
I
Insidious? All
I
right.
think, and the same problem with this movie is that I don't like the third act. And I heard like all the haunted house stuff was cool. There were like all the build up. As soon as they get to the part with the mom's possess, then it's like way too over the top. It's way too much, and it's like, well,
And it
no,
ends
I don't
kind of
like it.
weakly. Like the same with this one. The ending is a little weak, right? Like I felt like it could have had a bigger ending. What do you think?
I think it's almost like it changed from a haunted house movie to a possession movie.
First, in between, there was a Christian movie in there somewhere too.
a little bit, but I even heard that like they had a different ending. They might have even filmed a different ending. I can't remember, but the
Oh,
studio
interesting.
was like,
Okay.
no, it's not enough. You need to redo it. So they either rewrote it or reshot it, and they added in the whole possession thing. Like it's been a while since I read about it, but that was not originally in there
Interesting. Okay, that makes sense that like wow, I wonder what that cut of the movie would have looked like without the possession. And oh
because it
man.
was just kind of like, oh, there's a ghost on the property and it's haunting the family, and all of a sudden, like third act time, it's like, and by the way, the mom's possessed now and trying to
And
kill her
now she's
kid.
gonna try and kill
It's
everyone.
like, where'd that come? Like, and same thing, Insidious. I liked all the stuff up until the dad goes into the crazy hell world. That's when it's like, okay, now it's like as soon as it gets to be too much, it's like too much scary. It's not.
It's over the top enough, it takes you out of it a little
Yeah,
bit,
now
right?
it's like, okay, now I'm just watching a movie. Like, whereas some of the other stuff, like, even like the in The Conjuring, the family going into the basement, the little girl's leg getting grabbed at night. Like, there was some kind of spooky stuff in there, and it's like, this is cool. And then they get into like the plotting and the screenwriting. And as soon as I'm aware that I'm watching a movie, it's like, for a while there, I was like, into this, right? And I kind of forgot I was watching a movie and just liking it. And that's kind of where I come out.
I'm trying to think if I've seen any of the other Conjuring universe movies. Like if I don't think I've seen Annabelle. Um, and then The Nun, is that one of them?
Yeah, The Nun, and there's two or three now. I eventually lost track. Like I didn't like The
There's so
Nun.
many spin-offs that come out. Like, and again, that's this movie. I think it invented that too of like the horror spin-off kind of
Which
situation.
I don't think like I mean you could like whatever you want, but I don't think that horror needs a shared universe. Like
No, you're right. It doesn't need to Marvelify itself.
yeah, like comic books is always like that. Like, hey, there's Batman, there's Superman. What if they meet up? That's kind of cool. It kind of works, but with a horror movie, like you could have a Freddy versus Jason as like a special kind of thing,
That was
but they
fun.
don't need to be in the same universe. And then they get kind of overconfident where they just think everything in our universe is cool, people are gonna like. And it's like, well, it's partly the actors, it's the story. It's not just like, hey, any crazy demon you have in your movie, people are gonna watch a full movie about. Like,
Well, because they tried to do that with the Universal monsters, right? They tried
yeah,
to do like a Universal monsters shared universe, but nobody wanted any part of it.
yeah. And the thing is, those movies, like the Invisible Man, like was actually really good. Like, it's just like if you just do single movies, like I wish we could just, as a society, go back to that. Instead of like James Gunn is going to create like 12 movies for us, this whole universe. It's like, no, just do one. Just make one good movie and then make another one good movie. Down the line, put
I
them together if you want to, but
I think, and I don't know this, I'm not that smart, um, but I think there's one of those reactions. Remember, I said things go in reactions, something happens, status quo reaction. I think we're coming up on one of those reactions in the film world because every now right now everywhere I turn, and granted, I'm not in the upper echelons of anything. I'm just kind of like the lowest of the lowest rung. But everywhere I turn, I hear people saying the movie business is kind of in shambles right now. Especially as an actor, it's hard to get work and like it's just everything is harder and harder, and with AI coming in it's even harder. So I wonder if all of that is creating something that creates the conditions for a reaction to happen. And I wonder
yeah,
if we'll go back to something. But I wonder if this is the other thing I wonder is like if the internet makes it so that kind of reaction has its small fan base, but the status quo keeps being the status quo.
it's hard to yeah, it's hard to say, and obviously you can't predict the future. But the thing is, with the internet, you could have even like the weirdest like niche. It's like a niche of a
Mm-hmm.
niche you could have and have enough fans that no one else can know about it. So yeah, Hollywood might continue sucking for the next 10, 20 years, but you could still find your own content, for lack of a better word, to watch. You could still, the kind of stuff that we make, that could still exist.
Absolutely.
So it's not, it's like obviously you want to see Hollywood succeed, right? Like you want movies in general to be good. You don't want it to be like, man, the movie business sucks, except for you have to really search out for anything you want to see. But I think
Yeah,
it's just they went too big. It's like, and no story could just be a story. It's always building towards something. So it doesn't end.
I
It's like, well, here's the new. whatever movie, but it's building up towards this bigger Avengers type thing. And it's like, yeah, but then
I
why did I watch this? Why didn't you just skip to, why did I watch a story that doesn't end, right? It just like, it's just setting
I
up
think
for a more exciting thing to come later.
I think the same thing that happened to the tech industry is what's happening to the movie industry. They're kicking out all the creatives and they're going to be left with nothing but like people with business degrees.
Yeah,
That's who's going to make movies.
yeah. It should, I don't know if it ever was, but it should be like, hey, creatives, come up with a cool movie, make it, give it to us, and then we'll try to make money from it. Rather than the business people are like, hey, we're going to try to
We
make
need
what
to
we
make
think
sure
is
this
going
makes money. Yeah.
they're like, hey, we know what people want. We're going to
Yeah.
make something that's going to make money. And of course, they're going to use like AI to analyze every trend and come up with the perfect movie that will make money, not realizing that everyone's going to be doing that and they're going to make the same fucking movie every time. And it's going to suck. And the people aren't going to like it. And it probably won't make money. Um,
You ever see that infographic or that meme of like from certain years, every single movie poster like kind of had the same format and the same color palette? Because
yeah,
I assume someone was like, "This is formulaically proven to like boost money, so we're gonna use this."
it's like, it's like on YouTube. The trend now, every friggin' YouTube thumbnail is some sort of graphic and a guy going like this. It's just
Yeah,
like it's like stop doing that. Like it's so stupid.
and it's always got
Um,
a colored border around it, like
yeah,
either yellow or blue border or something. It's so wild. But like I said, it's what I said is something happens, or because I'm assuming at one point the like, YouTube thumbnail was new and it was working for people and people were clicking on the video because it probably was a reaction to what was happening before and now it becomes the status quo and people start to be like, well, this really sucks, and then a reaction pops up to that. And like, so maybe you'll see something like where people are ironically being like, oh, on their like YouTube
yeah.
channel or something.
It'll just change. Some new video will have a totally different kind of thumbnail, and it'll get massively popular, and everyone will rip them off. And
Yep.
then the next year and a half, it'll be all that type of
Same
thumbnail.
thing over and over
And
again.
same like when The Conjuring came out, it was revolutionary, and everyone ripped it off. Like every movie looked the
Oh my
same. It was the same
God.
story beats, and
Yep.
I thought overall it was good. Some of the things I did not like, I think they're, I know it's based on the real family and they had a lot of kids, but I
Hmm.
couldn't keep track of all the kids. There's like five girls, and
Yes.
I kept forgetting which one's which. It's just like kids everywhere and it's loud.
They
And
all look very similar. I mean, casting didn't do a good enough job of making sure they're distinct.
yeah, they're just like I'd be watching. It's like, is that the same one that was getting dragged before, or is that the one? And then just like, which one of them sleeps in which room? Like they go into
They
a
all
room
look
and
roughly the same age. It's just the youngest one that looks, you know her because she's the youngest one, but the rest of them kind of look roughly the same age.
then they also had the like the Warrens, they had their own kid too, and she was also getting haunted in their house.
Right.
And there was a few times where I thought she was one of the Perrin girls, and then it's just like, oh no, she's in a different house. This is the, and it's like, okay, like did
She did have like weird cousin energy at one point once she was with the parent family, and like every now and then I'd be like, "Oh, is that the cousin?" I was like, "Oh no, that's their daughter."
yeah, like it's not. I mean, it's not wouldn't be enough to ruin the movie, but it was just something I noticed. Um, let's see, I'm just checking my
Check
yeah,
your
they
notes.
did like the whole bouncy ball thing. It's like that's
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the
yeah,
Changeling. The whole and then a bouncing ball comes out of nowhere. It's like
yeah.
that was made in the Changeling. That was what, like 1980 or 81. It's like, come
Yeah,
on,
it's early. Now that's a good poster. Speaking of posters,
the
uh,
Changeling.
yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good ass poster.
and it's a
Um,
great haunted house movie.
I think it was probably like they were like, you know, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take every single trope we can think of and put them into the movie. Like everything that's iconic from other movies, we're gonna assimilate, and then we're gonna create some of our own. Um, James Wan is a good director. Like
Yeah,
it's something I said about Paul Thomas Anderson when I was talking about his new movie. I don't think their movies are bad. I don't think they're capable of making bad movies. I think they're capable of making very well executed films, but what's the content of said film? That's
Yeah, like I think the Conjuring it was well made, but yeah, it's like they put together even things like the mom when they're doing the exorcism and she starts floating. It's like that's
yeah.
directly from The Exorcist. Everyone's seen that. Like you're just
But has
taking other
everyone seen
elements.
it though, Brandon? Because I think about it, this came out in what, 2011?
Something like that. It could be a new generation that
I was
hasn't.
gonna say a whole crop of kids were born between when that movie. There's so many kids that haven't seen. Even now, you hear kids that have never heard Nirvana or never seen this movie or whatever, and then you either see a new movie that reuses those tropes, or you rediscover the movie.
Yeah, it seems kind of like a cop out. It's like, come on, guys, think of your own. Like you're creative people. Try to think of your own stuff. Like they did. I wouldn't. I'm not accusing them of ripping stuff off. They had some fairly
No.
original things in there, and a lot of it was scary. And there was certain things too, like that stupid clapping game that just seemed so
Yes.
staged. Like, what could? How would you play that game and not
Why
hurt
would you play
yourself?
that game ever?
Like, especially in a house that has more than one level and multiple staircases, someone's gonna break their leg. Like that's
But they even like call it out in the beginning of the movie. They're like, "Don't play the game unless you know the house," and it's like, "Don't," because she keeps playing the game. It's like, what is what? Ugh.
it just seems like they made up the scare first, and then they're like, how do we make this happen? How about they play a game with blindfolds on? It's like, who
I
plays
bet
a
you that's
game in their house with a
exactly what
blindfold
happened.
on?
I bet you exactly that happened. They were
Yeah.
like, it'd be really scary if we had someone with a blindfold and they were clapping, and then boom, scare. And then how do we fix that? Well, let's make a stupid game that the mother and daughter play.
Yeah, it's yeah. Yeah, it seemed very contrived. I did not like that. Let's see. Another another thing I didn't like about it that I'm kind of sick of seeing in movies is the long oneer, like the long shot where the camera's moving and everyone's moving and it goes on for a long time. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I was gonna ask you don't like that because I didn't mind it so much. I do miss when movies moved slower.
I love it when movies move slower. I hate it when the filmmakers try to show off.
Fair enough. I
It's
get what you mean. I
it's
see what
like
you
they're trying to show off for other filmmakers, and as soon as I know it,
mean.
it's like all. And you could always tell, like you could tell because the camera's moving forward, and you could just tell by the way the people move through the shot. It seems very staged. You
I
just
think
see the
it's
blocking.
really funny how you put that as like showing off for other filmmakers because yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. It's
Yeah,
like,
and
look
as
at
soon as
this,
they're doing it,
losers. How much time do you think it took to do this?
I stop paying as soon as I notice it. I'm like, oh no, they're doing a oneer. Then I'm not even watching the story. I'm just like, okay, how long is the shot going to go off for? It's like, oh, they went through the house. Oh, now they're going up the stairs now, and it's like, okay, guys, knock it off, you know. And then now there's that new TV series, the
I
about
was gonna
the
ask if you've seen it. I forget the name, but it's all shot in one take, right?
yeah. And I was like, when someone told me that, I was like, guarantee I'm not going to watch that because
No, it's all right.
I'm sure the story's good, but I'm not going to be paying attention to the story. I'm just going to be paying attention to how annoyed I am by the stupid one
Oh
long
my
shot.
God. Can you imagine just to like when you're doing a oneer like that and you're like towards the end and someone flubs a line?
Or you flub the line.
Oh my God, or you like blow focus somehow?
Yeah, it's like, sorry guys, I know we all want to
Oh,
go home, but we got to do
from
it
the
again.
top.
Yeah, it's so opposite from the way I do things because we have so little rehearsal time that I'm just like break it into pieces and just get all the little and I'll assemble it in editing. If we have a shot that lasts like 10 seconds, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but I do like slower moving movies. And I didn't find this one, this wasn't like Michael Bay level cut, cut, cut.
No, 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 no,
This
no.
one moved at a decent pace, and I didn't really. The only time I really found it boring was because I've seen it a bunch of times. But I found that the story kept a decent pace. I found the second half towards the end, it started to get repetitious. It's kind of like, okay, here's another scary thing, but it was kind of like the last scary thing. But then here's a
Well,
new one. That's kind of cool. And it's like, okay, like they could have cut 10 minutes out, 15 minutes maybe.
like I said, the ending to me kind of felt like a like it went really strong and then it just kind of like ew.
Yeah, and the mom, it's like, oh, the mom's possessed, gonna kill the kids, and then they basically like
Oh
fight
no.
it, fight it, fight it, and she's like, okay,
And
I'm
then
back
they
to normal
hug
now.
on the porch after and they're like, we did it.
Yeah, It's like, okay, that was a lot easier than expected. Um,
So what would you rate it overall?
I give it 7.5 because it's well
That's a high
executed,
rating.
and it's also like they reused some tropes, but they started something that everyone else ripped off for like 10 years after, so they deserve some kudos for that.
I will give it between 5.5 and a 6. Somewhere between five and a half and a six. It
And
lands
honestly,
there.
that's pretty good. Like most, like Penguin Zero says, like most horror movies are shit. Even if you're a horror fan, most of them
It's
are
hard to rise
bad.
above the muck.
Yeah, even if like just like go on IMDb and just look at horror movies, like
Oh
all
my God.
like they're all like 4.8, even for like famous movies. So for the ones that are like seven, it's like that's saved for like The Exorcist, like for the top ones. So so even like a 5.5, like to be not absolute shit is hard for a horror movie.
Better than average. Better than average
Yeah,
is what I will give to The Conjuring.
cool. All right, well, we'll wrap this one up now. We're almost out of time. So thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.